The Ice Queen is back. Time for easy abyss clears. We'll go through her talents, how to play around her kit, some potential builds, and what characters do work well with her. This guide does not cover her constellations, but her core gameplay isn't really affected by them, so this guide still works. First things first, one of Ayaka's unique features. She can't run, instead she likes to hide on the ground, which not only allows her to move faster, but also infuses her regular attacks with cryo for a couple of seconds. Whilst this effect is active, she also gains more damage on these attacks. The combination of these two effects makes her unique, and already one of the strongest characters in the game. The one downside of this skill is that she can't cut down trees. When it comes to her attack patterns themselves, you primarily use her charge attacks. As the scaling is very high, you can hit multiple targets with ease, and it has an unusual hit detection, which allows you to hit enemies that are technically out of range. The hit detection of her charge attacks works differently than others. For one, it is a fairly large bubble, and if an enemy is within that bubble at any time during the animation, he will get hit, no matter where he is currently. This makes her exceptionally strong paired up with anemo characters, but more on team compositions later. Her elemental skill does deal damage in a circle around her, and for the next couple of seconds, her regular attacks deal another 30% more damage. The cooldown is quite long with 10 seconds, so think before you use it. Her burst is straightforward. She shoots a ball of ice which deals AoE damage and can hit up to 20 times, applying cryo on every hit. The ball stops moving if an enemy gets hit by it. This can be useful, especially if you have a lot of tanky enemies grouped up. Her basic gameplay looks like this. You go briefly on the ground, cast your E, and make charge attacks until the cryo application runs out. Then you go on the ground again and do more charge attacks until your E comes back off cooldown, at which point you start over again. Use your burst whenever you deem it necessary, but if you want to maximize your damage, keep up the basic gameplay mentioned before. When it comes to the artifacts, you technically have some options, but honestly the Blizzard Strayer set fits her playstyle way too good to pass it up. The 2-piece bonus is just a flat 15% damage buff, and the 4-piece set is at least a 20% crit rate increase. If you have a Hydro character on your team that can apply Hydro regularly, that increases to 40%. On top of that, you can get another 15% crit rate if you have a second Cryo character on your team. Combined with your base crit rate of 5%, you already have 60% crit rate without any further artifact bonus, which is just insane. For this alone, I recommend you to get this set. I just hope you have more luck than I do. Other options are the Gladiator set to get another 35% on your charge attacks, the Noblesse set for a stronger burst if you use her primarily for that. Shimanawa's and the Severed Fate sets could work too, but I have not tried them so far. If you are running one of the alternatives, focus on crit rate and damage as well as attack percent. If you have the Blizzard set, focus on the same stats, but don't go higher than 45% crit rate, as you will have already 100% at that point. Focus on crit damage and attack percent instead. Make sure to use a Cryo Goblet if you have one, as it will probably provide more damage, even with mediocre substats, than any other attack percent piece. If you are still below adventure rank 45, refrain from building your artifact sets first. Focus on getting your team ready and level up your talents and ascensions up as high as you can. Worry about your artifacts later. If you are not sure what materials you need for that, check out the video right here. When it comes to your weapons, her signature weapon is obviously a great choice, but any other weapon that has a high base damage with either crit damage or attack percent works great. Crit rate weapons, like the Black Sword, can work too, but keep an eye out for the maximum of 45% crit rate. A budget sword that works surprisingly well is the Cool Steel, as it provides you attack percent and additional cryo damage. You can also get it easily to Refinement 5. If you are not quite sure on how to build your Ayaka, join the stream that should be live right now. There I can potentially make an account review to help you out. As for your team, you usually want to have at least one Hydro character that applies Hydro without being on the field, such as Shincho, Kokumi or Ayato. This way, you potentially won't need a healer as all enemies are perma-frozen. As mentioned before, another Cryo character for the Resonance helps a lot. The best one to increase your damage even further is Shenhe, but other fair choices include Diona, Chi-Chi or Rosaria to name a few. Additionally, an Anemo character would be beneficial as you are dealing well with bunched up enemies. In my opinion, Venti is the best choice, especially if you remember my example from before. But Kazuha or Sucrose can do the job as well. If your Anemo character also uses the Anemo artifact set, it would also increase your damage once more, which is never a bad thing. So a typical combo with Ayaka looks like so. Start off with applying Hydro, use Anemo to get them close together. Potentially use your support Cryo character, then switch to Ayaka to deal your big damage, and freeze all your enemies permanently. I hope you liked this format, let me know if you did and subscribe to get more. This has been Minpact and see you in the next one.